Hi and welcome back to my channel. In this video, I'm going to be looking at some quick little love notes from your person. This is going to be a message cards only reading, and there are 3 groups to choose from. Group 1 is the honey calcite. Group 2 is the rose quartz. And group 3 is the green calcite. So if you want to take a moment to center, focus on your breathing, and feel whichever group, maybe multiple groups, or perhaps all of the groups that you're most drawn to. I'll give you a minute to make your selection, and then we'll get right into it. And there are timestamps in the description box of the video for each group if you would like to jump ahead, which I do recommend using so that you can skip over me shuffling the cards in between groups and getting prepared to tap into the energy of the group I am about to read for. So I'll give you a minute and we will get right into it. Hi, Group 1. You chose the honey calcite. So I'm going to be getting 3 cards from 3 different decks. So let's see, what does your person want you to know from their higher self? Group 1. Okay, and they say, I've looked into tarot readings. So this person could read tarot themselves. Perhaps they have purchased readings from others looking into the connection specifically, or this could be somebody that's even turned to maybe tarot readers on YouTube, on Instagram, on TikTok, any number of platforms there. Maybe somebody who's encountered and is resonating also with the concept of twin flames or soulmates, or just has some kind of urge to kind of dig deeper into the connection they're feeling with you. If you're in no contact or separation, trying to kind of feel out the energies between the two of you, what's going on, maybe get some kind of clues about what's happening in your life for people that are sort of planning or anticipating wanting to return, wanting to kind of reach out, but not really sure if it's the right time to do so. The two of you could also be watching readings from the same readers or similar types of readers, really vibrating with the same concepts and getting very similar messages. A lot of what you could be getting in terms of personal readings that you're purchasing from people, or even free tarot readings that you're viewing, maybe pick a card readings or just general kind of collective messages. It feels like both of you are actually resonating a lot lately with what is coming through, which is not always the case, especially when it's kind of a general collective reading. That's not going to be everybody's reading every single time. And there can be times where, you're resonating with a particular reader, a particular style of reading, and then there can be periods of time where you're not so much resonating with that person anymore. Either you've outgrown them or just the energies that are being tapped into. It's not necessarily your story that day, that week, or maybe just at that period of time. But this feels very much that you are getting a lot of confirmations via whatever methods of divination you're using, even cards that you're pulling for yourself. And this is very much mirrored with this person who is also seeking answers, seeking guidance, and is getting a lot of resonance with what is coming through or what they are coming upon. And they also say, you influence me in ways no one ever has. So you definitely have sparked something within this person. Something has awakened within this person, maybe a unique perspective that you have really presented to them that has opened them up perhaps to concepts of spirituality or even divination and tarot. This might have been something that, they had never considered before, or might have just kind of laughed off or just kind of discounted as not being very realistic or not something they were really interested in. But it seems that a shift has taken place within this person. Instead of maybe seeking some outside validation for what they're feeling, what they're experiencing, and just kind of purely relying on that, this person really learning to trust their intuition with the information that's coming into them, not just kind of taking things at face value, but really learning to feel into those sensations. This feels like somebody who is definitely perceiving the energy between the both of you, maybe at a heightened capacity at this point in time. That could be just due to some shifts that have occurred within you, within your life, that has really kind of shaken up the any kind of stagnancy or stuck energy between the both of you. And this person really feeling that energetic ripple that has caused them to really sort of notice or take note of a situation that might have felt kind of like a constant sort of like background noise, almost something that they almost just took for granted. But because of this shift, this kind of shakeup that has occurred, it's causing them to be more acutely aware of the connection that maybe still exists between the both of you after a long period of time of not being in contact with one another. There could also be something significant about this time of year, some kind of an anniversary, a birthday, maybe other signs or synchronicities that they are getting that is really bringing that focus back to this connection. Somebody who also, it feels like a lot of time might have passed, and a lot is a relative term, so just apply that to your situation. That could mean weeks, that could mean months, that could mean years for some people, or even decades. And this person really kind of intrigued by the fact that they are still feeling something for you. They're still feeling the intensity of this connection. There's still this empathic bond between the both of you. Some kind of evolution or maturity or kind of a widening of perspective seems to have taken place within this person also, to where they're viewing you in this connection with fresh eyes, from a new stance. They're acutely kind of feeling into this and recognizing as well, able to differentiate how the dynamic between the both of you, primarily in the energetic sense, but maybe also in terms of just how you are, maybe some kind of contrast to them. One of you might be more kind of assertive and the other person is more observant, a little more passive, a little more, quiet. You both could be from different backgrounds, different cultures, different religions. One of you more traditionally religious and the other person more spiritual. Just any kind of number of things. There could be an age difference, just kind of a difference in sort of what you do for a living as well. This person could work kind of a traditional 9 to 5. You could be somebody who is more self-employed or more artistic in your temperament. Somebody who kind of has multiple income streams, and just varying little differences between the both of you that has really helped to widen this person's perception of what is possible in life, what is possible in love as well. Somebody who may have had like a very specific type of partner in mind, or kind of looked at first glance at the connection with you and assumed you two were too different to make it work or to make it last. But then as time has passed and this kind of widened perspective that they have, they're starting to see that you have fulfilled something within them that others that maybe fit into that kind of 3D prescription, that mode, that kind of what they were assuming would be the right fit or the right type of person, a particular type of partner that they had been gravitating toward or kind of calling in for some period of time, that there's this satisfaction on a deeper level that the connection with you has provided them, an awareness of a deeper level of connectivity even, which is really helping them to kind of see you as somebody who stands apart from others in their life or that they've dealt with romantically or otherwise. And they also say I'm speaking through songs. So this person could be listening to songs a lot that maybe you shared in common, you sent back and forth, maybe love songs even, to just kind of tap into that vibration, that feel-good energy that you once shared between the both of you. This can also really indicate that messages are coming through from this person's higher self to you via songs. So you might be, hearing lyrics and it almost sounds that, this is kind of their higher self's way of communicating to you, while there might be some kind of blockage or barrier or obstacle in the 3D communication currently. This person also could be sort of turning to music as a way to kind of engage in some sort of catharsis about frustration regarding the separation between the both of you, or a way to just kind of express feelings that they don't necessarily have words for. So that can be playing some kind of an instrument just to, again, sort of tap into that vibration, allow those feelings and that energy to just kind of flow. For others of you, somebody could be a songwriter, maybe something that they do professionally, or something that they just do as kind of a hobby, something that they're feeling very inclined to do, to kind of put music and lyrics together to make some kind of a declaration or expression perhaps of how they're feeling about you, or just in some way to kind of get these feelings out, to kind of process and work through these feelings that are still lingering for you, and also kind of these new sensations, this new awareness that is coming up. So let's see, what else does this person want to say, group 1? Okay, and they say, I wonder if your feelings for me are the same. So this can again tie into a connection of no contact, separation, where, a substantial amount of time, a lot of time, a significant amount of time has passed. This person is still thinking of you, but they're really not sure where you are in your life, if your heart is still open to them. Something that they've maybe sensed about some shifts within you, or that they are able to observe in the material world. If you, live in, say, a small town or in a similar kind of area, you have friends in common, or just some kind of community in common, somebody you work with, somebody who views you on social media and has witnessed this kind of glow up in your life, a change in your life, in your lifestyle, maybe even some kind of physical change, to where they're recognizing that growth and evolution has taken place. And with that, there's this uncertainty about kind of the person that you were, that would have entertained feelings for this person. Do you still have room in your heart? Is this still, what you would want? Is this still the type of person you're attracted to? It could be bringing up some feelings of inadequacy within this person also, feeling that, they can't compare now. They don't really have much to offer you. Sort of the dynamic of your interaction, or maybe even some wounding that they were kind of acting out of, this distortion that was coming through in the past. They're recognizing something has healed within you. They're aware that you would no longer tolerate maybe the same kind of conduct or behavior that you had in the past. And so it's leaving this person almost feeling at a loss of, are they good enough? Do they have what it takes to really present something to you, really offer something to you of substance, value, and meaning at this point moving forward? And we also have, I get so upset when something reminds me of you because it reminds me of how much I miss you. So that was coming through with kind of these signs and synchronicities that this person might be getting, these little nudges that are encouraging them to, look deeper into this connection, look deeper into the energies that they are feeling with you. It feels like it's almost a bittersweet energy where they get really excited when they see these reminders. it's kind of like a little smile at some kind of a, some bit of nostalgia, some kind of a memory, something that just draws that attention, that conscious 3D attention back to you. But then sort of following that feeling of bliss is also that sinking feeling, that reality, that they are at a distance from you, that at this point in time, these signs and these reminders, these memories are almost all that they have, the connection being at some kind of a standstill, kind of an icy period, a dormant period. And it's this energy of frustration that is almost, and kind of that also that energy of sort of comparing, wanting to tap in other ways, or kind of do some kind of detective work in other ways to figure out where you are in your life, where you are energetically even. If they aren't able to observe you in the physical sense, in the 3D world, this feels like somebody who's definitely tapping into that energy, whether through conscious kind of methods, through meditation, maybe even some astral travel, or people who are just kind of unaware of techniques, but are, just through all of that kind of thought and all of that energy invested, it is creating that energetic link to you. Or even, looking into divination methods themselves, or getting readings, or watching readings, just something to get some kind of a clue, some kind of a taste, some kind of an inkling of where you're at, kind of moving out of that sense of emptiness and loneliness from not having you in their 3D physical world, not creating new memories, and just kind of going back over kind of this old collection of sensations and feelings, and thinking about the good times primarily that they enjoyed with you. They also say, I'm closed off from seeing your point of view right now. So that ties in with that kind of bittersweet energy when they are thinking about you, when they're thinking back on this connection. A lot of those memories are very fond, and this feels like somebody who's almost trying to avoid the painful memories, somebody who's not quite ready to take ownership and responsibility for their role in the circumstances between the both of you. Somebody who would rather just almost focus in a distorted way on the lighter times, on the good times, which is, that's always helpful to look at, to focus on the positive, on kind of the best expectations. But that can create a distortion in and of itself if we are not able, just, in romance or just other situations in our lives or personally, if we're not able to achieve that sense of balance between recognizing kind of the light and shadow, what works and what needs to be worked on. And it feels like this person just is most comfortable focusing exclusively on that energy of what went right, not really at a place of being prepared to recognize how they may have self-sabotaged, how they may have contributed personally to the circumstances you find yourselves in, how they themselves might have been not necessarily showing up as the best version of themselves. They are aware of these things, these kind of feelings. This is triggered at almost kind of a neurological level within them as they're getting these memories and sort of that buzz of the happy feelings, followed by almost that sinking sensation of not having you around. Somebody who's not totally ignorant as to why you two might be at a distance, but this feels like somebody who's not wanting to dwell too much on thinking there. They're just kind of wanting to sort of remain at that kind of surface nostalgia of the happier times. But the more that these memories come through, it is going to push that person further into kind of those shadowy aspects that they may have just kind of compartmentalized and tucked away, things that they're not necessarily ready to look at this point in time, but that's kind of a gatekeeper toward progressing in any substantial or significant way in this situation. So I'm going to get the final 3 messages from this person's higher self for you, group 1. See, what do they want to say? Okay, and they say, your touch ignites a sun within me. So this is kind of a reference to illumination and awakening. This person really feeling very warmly and very fondly of you, becoming illuminated to kind of the deeper implications of the connection with you, how this connection really stands apart from others they may have experienced in the past, platonic or even other romantic connections. There's this desire to kind of move back into the warmth of the good times you shared, but again, kind of failing to realize or choosing not to really look at this point in time on some things within themselves that they need to work on in order to make that possible, in order to really kind of generate that energy of change, which can then have an effect on in terms of the change of the circumstances between the both of you. This also feels like somebody who, again, is just seeking to kind of tap in energetically, who has really, through the work you've done on yourself, they have sensed energetically these ripples that have kind of emanated out to them, that the way in which they were accustomed to experiencing your energy, or maybe even some kind of ultimatum you've given them, some kind of a way that you've kind of broken a cycle with them, that this hasn't gone unnoticed. And this almost feels like someone who's clamoring to kind of get back into that sanctuary, that closeness, even if it was almost kind of a closeness of stagnancy, where they just, you were always around, you were always kind of in that energy of pursuit. And this person, maybe then had the ability to just continue to run with that constant pressure on them. If you shifted your focus, you've kind of turned that love inward, you've started pouring into your own cup, then this person is feeling that vacancy. And there's this desire to almost now chase what it was they were running from previously. And they also say, I will wait in the name of love. So this could indicate this person is single at this point in time, somebody who is going through a lot of changes within themselves on multiple levels, spiritual changes, and there could be a lot of connections that are falling away from their life. That could be platonic connections, that could be other romantic situations that they are in, and somebody who is kind of at this point of transition, where they might not be resonating with a lot of people, in terms of friendships, in terms of romantic connections. This seems to be somebody who is kind of acutely focused on you, on the situation with you, not having a lot of substance to invest in other things, in other people, in the pursuit of other connections. So this does feel kind of, for some of you, like a 180-degree shift in terms of somebody who was running that has now shifted into this energy of pursuit, kind of failing to realize or to recognize or to kind of bring along that energy of change within themselves. This was like somebody who is just kind of projecting outward, seeking to change the circumstances and the dynamic within you, kind of right at that precipice of realizing that change needs to come within first in order to really experience that change in outside circumstances. And they also say, you made my life a waking dream. So that kind of ties in with that card saying that you influence them in ways no one ever has. This feeling of bliss, this feeling of sanctuary, this feeling of something more to life, a new way of living, a new way of being, a new way of seeing the world, that you've really widened this person's perspective to. This can also really allude to somebody who is taking a lot of time to daydream about this, dream about the better times, focus on kind of the happy memories, dreaming of a fresh start, of a renewal, of kind of entering back into your life again after a period of being apart. You could be dreaming about this person a lot, meeting a lot with this person kind of in that astral realm, in that astral plane. And it's something, this also really to me is with that kind of that idea of a waking dream. This could be somebody who was kind of sleepwalking through this process, who is again not really choosing to kind of ignore the aspects of themselves that need to be addressed, that need to be shifted, that need to be altered in order to generate a different series of results between the both of you. For a lot of you, you've again kind of broken out of that cycle of pursuit. And so the runner then, it's they realize, what are they running from? There's nobody chasing them any longer. And so kind of shifting that direction, but failing to realize that it requires more than just engaging in that energy of being on the hunt, of being on the pursuit, that they're feeling almost this kind of a sense of inadequacy, not having much to offer, but not really recognizing that within them lies the potential of kind of stepping into that more empowered version of self, stepping into that version where they do have something concrete and substantial to offer you in the form of changed behavior, in terms of awareness, kind of a deepening of emotional vulnerability, change in the sense of kind of letting go of some of the wounding and pattern that caused them to run from this connection in the first place. So somebody who has definitely shifted, there's a change that has taken place in terms of how they're relating to this energy. But in terms of anything meaningful that they could bring forth at this point in time, it seems almost limited. It seems almost like the type of situation where if they were to reach out at this point in time, they haven't really done that internal work to the point where they would be able to kind of sustain the intensity of this energy. They're kind of keeping it in this sort of dreamy realm, really putting this on a pedestal, but again, have not really done that kind of core strengthening within themselves to be able to meet you at kind of a higher vibration and sustain that vibration, building the relationship together then from that point in any kind of substantial and meaningful way. But this is somebody who, at least internally, energetically, the way they're thinking about the connection, a change has taken place, and that energy of change can definitely then perpetuate, and it can definitely then kind of ripple out into these ideas, these inspirations, this awareness on this person's part that it requires more than just the intent of change, that, in order to experience those different results, they themselves need to kind of put in the work and follow that through with action of change. So I'm going to get some initials for you now. Group 1, this can be first, middle, or last name of you or this person, or it could spell something out, just whatever resonates for you. Got E, Q, D, R, W, O, K, C, S, and B. So those are your messages, Group 1. I hope that they resonated with you and that you enjoyed the reading. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up, comment, subscribe, or share. If you'd like a personal reading, I offer them through my Etsy shop, and there's a link in the description box of the video for that. I also sell handmade jewelry and some divination tools in my Etsy shop if you're interested in checking those out as well. I hope to see you again in another reading. Please take care and be well. Hi, group 2. You chose the rose quartz. So I'm going to be getting 3 cards from 3 different decks. Let's take a look and see. What does your person want you to know from their higher self? Okay, and they say, don't focus on who wants me. I want you. So if this is a situation where a third party was involved, a karmic relationship, a karmic marriage, this is definitely the energy of somebody who is no longer investing in that, at least emotionally at this point in time. This person really wants you to tap into the energy that you are feeling, the ways in which you are connecting with them in the higher dimensions, from their higher self level, as they're coming to you in dreams, as they're speaking to you through songs, as you're feeling their energy around you throughout the day, as you're getting these signs and synchronicities. It feels like this person also, despite what's happening in their 3D circumstances, that they're just kind of going through the motions of that, maybe doing what they have to do at this point in time before they are in a position of being able to kind of free themselves, break away from, or move away from, again, some kind of another romantic situation that they are in, and just focusing in the heart space and at the soul level in their mind on this connection. So kind of present perhaps in other situations, but not fully emotionally invested in those things anymore. A decision or a resolution has taken place within this person that whatever circumstances they're in, whoever they're with, whatever that looks like, that ultimately and in the long term, this is not something that fulfills them at the soul level. This is not something that, they want to perpetuate into the long term. And it's almost kind of like that first little seed of change, that first little spark of change, that awareness that something needs to shift, something needs to give in their current circumstances, that whatever they are involved in is not sustainable in the long term. It's not something which is conducive to their personal happiness, their contentment in the long term. But it could be something that, again, there's other circumstances involved. Maybe children are involved, maybe financial concerns, needing to, if this is somebody maybe this person works with, needing to kind of make sure that they're going about situations very delicately in order to kind of not disrupt that stability in other manners in their life. And so it's something where, again, they're really asking you to just kind of tap into that soul knowing, that bond, try to kind of feel with faith into where the connection between you stands, what this person's intentions are, what their feelings are for you. It might not be something they're able to just declare very openly or very publicly at this point in time, but sort of that energy and the constancy of that, the intensity of that, they're really asking you to trust in that over what is being shown or is even not being shown to you in the 3D at this point in time. And they also say, I'm done running from this connection. So that really ties in if this was somebody who maybe made a choice to go back to a karmic partner, or if they were kind of weighing their options at one point in time, and the intensity of this connection sort of scared this person, made this person kind of run back into a comfort zone, go back with an ex-partner, or maybe just kind of choose to remain single rather than committing to anybody. This also ties in with this, them not wanting you to focus on who wants them. If this had been somebody who was just kind of leading the single life and was kind of going around, was dating other people, this feels like somebody who is kind of, they're done with that sort of lifestyle or that habit or that choice. It's not really yielded anything of substance for them. It's not leading to the same level of satisfaction that it once did. And so with that, whether this is someone single or in another relationship with somebody else, they're done at kind of the soul level, at the emotional level, at kind of that internal level of pushing this away, of denying their feelings for you. This can then be somebody who's strategizing sort of the next step forward. What needs to take place? What things need to fall away? What new opportunities need to be created in order to really do something about this? Somebody who maybe maybe even has taken that first step of just admitting they have feelings for you, or admitting they still have feelings for you, and could be kind of in this quiet time, learning to kind of live with the implications of that, to really digest that fully. And what does that mean based on the circumstances you both find yourselves in, choices or decisions that were made in the past? How is this going to look moving forward? What to do with this realization? What to do with these feelings? Somebody who could also be sort of asking for guidance, seeking guidance from their higher self, praying about this situation, asking for signs, asking for the courage to maybe have difficult conversations with other people in their life, to break off perhaps even long-term connections, or to take those steps to, getting a divorce, or moving away from a karmic partner, a third party situation. And so all of this is kind of in this process of sort of planning and needing to take that time to do things carefully, to do things right, to tie up some loose ends before just coming back in with all of this complications and all of this baggage kind of in tow. And they also say it was you. It was always you. So this could be a situation where somebody denied having feelings for you, or somebody who maybe told you that you weren't what they were looking for. If it was a choice between you and somebody else, they might have chosen the easier option, or somebody, going back to a partner that they had a history with. But this is them from their higher self really letting you know that didn't lead to the same level of satisfaction, and kind of a deep core sense as what they had with you, that sort of in the 3D reality, it might have checked off a lot of boxes for them. It could have been a very conventional relationship, something that friends and family approved of. If there are children involved, it would have kept that kind of nuclear family intact. But all of that feels very much like veneer, very surface level in terms of what this kind of did for this person, the fulfillment that they garnered from that. And as time has gone by and this realization has occurred to this person that there's some kind of deep unfulfillment, there's some kind of a deep incompatibility between whatever lifestyle or person or situation they chose over this connection. And they again have kind of that very first step is admitting that it's problematic, whatever that they are in or they are investing in currently, that there's just something missing, there's something lacking. It doesn't necessarily mean this other person is a bad person, or that there's anything, obviously kind of wrong or very toxic about that situation. There can be, but it doesn't necessarily need to be. It's just something almost missing for this person, that it's sort of satisfying. It's almost, there's a mediocrity to it, or just kind of the energy of making do, getting by, almost the energy of settling. With this knowledge that there is so much more out there, that there's a level of kind of joy and elation and fulfillment that they got a taste of with you in the past in this connection, that their actions, their choices have kind of taken them further away from that. They've had to kind of sit in this sort of energy of just kind of being content, just, having their needs met maybe in a lot of ways. But there's still being this yearning, this ache deep within them for something more, this urge to discontinue that energy of running, of pushing away, of denying feelings, and instead really face that reality within themselves, that what they've experienced with you, even if this was a very short-lived connection, if you didn't really ever even enter into a relationship with one another per se, and this could have just been kind of like the energy of a false start almost, or a lot of things hinted at or implied, but this person making the choice not to take that next step, not to invest in the connection with you, or explore their feelings further, that has left them with this sense of regret, almost this sense of what they're in being very bland, it not really filling their life with sort of that level of joy that they really again got that kind of taste of with you, or that really their higher self and their heart, their true heart, was really pushing them toward. But this could have been somebody that operated in the energy of fear, chose kind of the safe and predictable route, what was comfortable, what was known, what was able to be understood according to their views and belief systems about love and partnership and what that looks like. So let's see, what else does this person want to say? Group 2. right? And they say, when I let you go, I really effed up. So again, that sense of having made the wrong choice, choosing to not commit to you, not commit to this relationship, opting for the single life instead, that it has left them with a sense of dissatisfaction, or choosing another partner, a partner to go back to, or maybe choosing the safer option, the more predictable option, the option that sort of fit in on the surface with all the characteristics of what they felt would be approved of by their friends, their family, expectations, by society even. And it's something that, it's left them with that feeling of just kind of the bare minimum, a sense of there being something more in terms of what is possible in the experience of love in this lifetime, kind of levels of being seen, being understood, being supported, being both challenged and encouraged, kind of that best version of self that was really mirrored to them by you, that was really encouraged to kind of blossom out of them by you, that this other person or circumstance, it may not challenge this person to grow at all. It may not question this person in terms of how are they playing small with their life. It may be a situation that doesn't encourage them to follow their dreams, doesn't believe in these dreams, somebody who, they're really having to kind of water themselves down or constantly wear that mask, that facade. They can't really show their true self. And this is really, it's starting to weigh on this person. It's becoming very apparent to them that they've almost chosen kind of the dim life for themselves, as opposed to something that is illuminated, where potential is there, where possibilities are there. They've instead chosen something that's just very contained and just kind of limited in terms of the capacity of experiencing love and the personal growth that is possible through the dynamic. And they also say it doesn't feel right without you. So another card confirming that, where whatever choice was made, this is not resonating for them at the soul level. It is not fulfilling them. It is not sustainable in the long term. They might be experiencing a lot of success in other ways in their life, but the celebration, the victory, it's just not as sweet. The person that they would want by their side, whose opinion that they value, who really, they feel recognizes and sees them for who they are, who would understand maybe the great feat that whatever the struggles that they've had to overcome to come to that place of accomplishment, to gain those accolades. It may be something that only you are acutely aware of kind of those issues dealing with self-esteem within this person, kind of parts of their subconscious and their psyche and their character that they've tried very hard to mask and hide from others. And there was almost a transparency where you're seeing these things. You've gone through those similar experiences and struggles. And so if anyone could understand what it took to get to where they are, it would be you. There's a sense of you being missing from these victories in their life, kind of those good times not being as good, or the sense that it would almost be better, more enjoyable, or sort of recognizing the things that you value, the way that you look at life, that's a perspective that is very much missing from their reality. And they also say, I don't know why I can't seem to stop watching you. So they definitely could be spying on you on social media, fake profiles, or even just kind of trying to anonymously sort of check up on you, Google you, really interested in what you're doing, what's going on in your life, in your world, the changes that they've seen you really exact in your life, the ways in which you have really sought your own abundance, the achievements that you've had, the moments of victory that you are celebrating, that they're perhaps watching from afar. It's the sense of being kind of on the outside of your life looking in. And there's this yearning to be there for you, to really support you through the struggles, through your own personal struggles, wanting to be there to really applaud and celebrate with you these victories. Very much a mirrored energy here, in a sense that internally within this person, that they're really wishing that you could be there to celebrate their victories, and they are also looking to you and wishing that they could be there in the celebration of yours, feeling that their place is by your side, their place is in your life, that something is really missing. This can also be something where if you don't have social media, or maybe you've changed all your contact information and it's just almost literally impossible for this person to find you or to find out what's going on. You're being kind of closed about that. You're not really sharing a lot of that. This can also be somebody who's really tapping in energetically, really feeling into you, tapping into that energy of nostalgia, dreaming about you, definitely sensing and perceiving this energetic bond between you and really seeking that out, going from that energy of running, of really pushing it away to really exploring that, welcoming that, inviting that in. Maybe even somebody who's really praying for signs about you, praying for some kind of guidance, really seeking you out in the energetic sense at this point in time. So that can be coming through for you in the form of, just kind of thinking about this person at very random times, feeling their energy around you, very spontaneously or very unexpectedly or very intensely, as that, kind of the ripple effect, the energetic effect of all of this energy of thought and love that is being directed and invested to you, and that just kind of being perceived energetically as almost this person blanketing you, this energy of just feeling them like a cloak around you all of a sudden, at times when you're not even thinking about them. There's nothing to remind you of them, and it feels very spontaneous and just kind of out of the blue. A lot of mental energy and a lot of internal energy being invested in this connection, in the situation with you, and this desire for reconciliation that might be quite different from what they are portraying in the 3D sense. Somebody who almost has this mask that they are putting on, this facade that is kind of a disguise for a very different reality that is occurring within. Somebody who might be very good at kind of concealing their thoughts from others, or just is really good at kind of acting as if, giving no kind of indications or very little indications that their thoughts are elsewhere. They could also be coming across to those around them as very distracted, but others may just assume that has to do with work or some kind of sort of personal struggle within themselves. People who are not really digging too deeply into that, able to perceive really into that, or this could even be a source of conflict in their relationships, that distance that this other person or other people are sensing, but this person not really wanting to divulge what is on their mind, what is kind of giving them this reason to be very far away in terms of their thoughts, in terms of their energy, and all of this really being kind of an indication of that investment energetically on this connection and on you. So I'm going to get the final 3 messages from this person for you now, group 2. Okay, and they say nothing in this realm can stop our destiny together. So this is definitely that energy of somebody who's in the planning stages, kind of trying to almost choreograph their escape from a situation that they are in, needing to kind of close some doors, close some chapters, tie up some loose ends in their life in order to be prepared and completely unencumbered to move forward towards you. This can also be an indication from them, from their higher self, that if there doesn't seem to be a lot happening in the 3D world, it's really encouraging you to have some patience while this person kind of, takes the time to really do those plans, do those preparations. If it's something, where they're needing to get a divorce, for example, that's not just an overnight solution. That's not an overnight fix. That can be something which takes time. It can be a very, kind of difficult or arduous or delicate process, especially if there's children involved. To make sure that kind of the welfare of sort of the innocent parties in the situation, that's taken into account. There might even be kind of like a lot of back and forth as far as legal or as far as custody is concerned, and all these things really needing to take priority and precedence in this person's life before they're able to just kind of rush back into you. This feels like somebody who doesn't want to come in and sort of involve you in a lot of the difficulties that they are going through. Somebody who really understands the importance of closing one chapter before they are able to open another. Somebody who doesn't really want to come in with kind of all these loose ends or any sort of negativity or difficulty from other situations lingering. Somebody who wants to be able to come to you with open arms and an open heart, so that you understand that they are sincere, they are genuine in their interest and desire in giving this connection another chance, or really starting it for the first time if it was just kind of on that precipice before. And they also say, fire up this flame that's burning between us. So this really speaks to that that igniting of the passion, this realization that they are, finally admitting to within themselves that they've always had feelings for you, kind of made the wrong choice, chose the safer option, the less intense love. This can also be, that reference to flame can be a confirmation for you. If you resonate as a twin flame, that can be a confirmation that this is this person really, even perhaps having come across that concept of twin flame, resonating with that, this idea of a soulmate, feeling the intensity of the connection with you, maybe even surrendering to some kind of a kundalini awakening that has taken place, a spiritual awakening that has taken place, a shift, a change in their life and in their perceptions that they may not have been prepared or willing to deal with before. And so they just kind of had pushed this away, stuck in the comfort zone, returned to kind of like a partner even from the past that was safer, was kind of a less intense option, didn't really challenge and inspire that kind of growth and expansion with them, but just kind of encourage them to play small, play safe, deal with just sort of kind of the superficial ideas of kind of love and connection, kind of traditional ideas or what are commonly thought of concepts and feelings and kind of depths of emotion, dynamics within relationships. But this can also be this reference to almost burning bridges between people, sort of clearing away those other relationships, really making sure that the past is kind of left behind, closing out those loose ends, closing out those relationships with others, and this really taking priority, this person knowing that is necessary in order to move back towards you with the desire and ability to start fresh and fully invest in this connection. And they also say, you show me myself without my shell. So that's a great confirmation there of that energy of the facade that was coming up. And as much as this person might be very much an adept at presenting a face to the world that masks the reality of that internal landscape, there's a sense of being seen without even having to really speak words or give concrete indications that they felt with you. And that could have been that vulnerability, that sense of knowing, that sense of connectedness, the intensity of that could have been very overwhelming for this person in the past. It really could have motivated them to kind of distance themselves, to kind of run back into the direction of a connection or even a lifestyle of just kind of these more surface level connections. People who would just kind of take them at face value, take that mask and accept it. It's people who, maybe weren't even interested in sort of scratching beneath the surface of this person. And it's something where it may have kind of caused them to run or recoil at first. They're really yearning for that. They're craving that. This feels like somebody who very much is experiencing isolation even in a crowded room. Somebody who is yearning for that deep connectedness, that soul bond that in the past could have just been too overwhelming, but now is almost feeling very warm and inviting compared to kind of the lackluster situations and experiences that they're having in other areas of their life. So I'm going to get some initials for you now. Group 2, this can be first, middle, or last name of you or this person, or it can spell something out. Just whatever resonates for you. Got H, B, D, S, J, E, X, P, W, and L. So those are your messages, group 2. I hope that they resonated with you and that you enjoyed the reading. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up, comment, subscribe, or share. If you'd like a personal reading, I offer them through my Etsy shop, and there's a link in the description box of the video for that. I also sell handmade jewelry and some divination tools in my Etsy shop if you're interested in checking those out as well. I hope to see you again in another reading. Please take care and be well. Hi, group 3. You chose the green calcite. So I'm going to be getting 3 cards from 3 different decks. Let's see, what does your person want you to know from their higher self? Okay, they say I have an offer for you. So this could be somebody who is kind of planning their next move, somebody who is rehearsing what they want to say, somebody who could be kind of in the process of drafting texts, drafting emails, kind of preparing themselves, working up the courage to come forth with some kind of communication. That could be an apology, that could be a declaration of love, it could even be some kind of olive branch in terms of maybe starting at square one, opening up the lines of communication in a friendship manner to kind of build that sort of platonic foundation of trust, getting to know each other once again after maybe a lot of changes have happened within your lives internally, or even after a lot of time has passed. Somebody who has some feelings for you, has continued to have feelings for you, even in the separation, even in the silence, but may be aware that they can't just jump right back in, that a lot may have been said and done in the past that needs to be cleared up, kind of that element of rebuilding trust in this connection again, getting to know one another again after a lot of change or a period of time has gone by. This can also be somebody who might have been a little confused about their feelings, who has come to some kind of clarity, or somebody who could have really kind of had issues with intimacy and kind of a fear of commitment, and they've now evolved beyond that to this place of certainty that you are who they want in their life going forward. They also say my nerves have been getting the best of me. So somebody who's kind of in that energy of vacillating, right on that brink of pressing the send button, calling you, dialing that phone number, approaching you if this is somebody maybe that you work with. And so you see them in sort of a roundabout way on a day-to-day basis. Somebody who wants to come forward, who wants to deliver that apology, wants to open those lines of communication, but is still kind of battling some fear, maybe wondering if too much time has passed or if it's too much water under the bridge from whatever was said or done. Somebody who kind of is holding off out of fear that you won't be receptive to them, you won't hear them out, or you might be kind of unfair or cruel to them. If they operated in that energy in the past, this could be somebody who is kind of fearful of getting a taste of their own medicine from you. Somebody who may be avoiding a difficult conversation or an apology that is owed because they're not really prepared necessarily to both witness and hear the pain that would be drudged back up from you. Somebody who, doesn't feel that they can handle seeing you cry or seeing you very emotional, seeing you very angry, very upset. And it's kind of these worst case scenarios that their mind is going toward that is keeping them hovering right on the brink, right on the precipice of creating some kind of action in this situation. And they also say, I am not blind to the signs. I do see them. So they could be getting a lot of synchronicities, seeing 1111 a lot, seeing your name a lot, seeing some kind of signs or just this repeating message of go, action, take action, make a move, things like that are really pushing them to reach out, to speak, to say something, to take a chance on love and on this connection. You could be getting a lot of signs relating to this person as well. Maybe an influx of signs after things having gone quiet for a while. Maybe the connection went kind of dormant, went kind of cold, as this person really had been operating in that energy of very fear-based thinking, fear-based programming, kind of assuming the worst and closing themselves off to that kind of vibration of love, that connection that exists between the both of you. And so it could be quite surprising for you to get this kind of influx of signs. You could really sense something shifting in this, really feel kind of that urgency, that anticipation, but also some anxiety emanating from this person. Kind of a sense of knowing that, even in a general sense, that something is coming, something is right on the brink of happening, of coming into being, but not really sure what. You may have even gotten some tarot readings recently, or listened to tarot readings online that indicate that something is coming, something is shifting, but it might have been kind of vague to where you're not really sure what is that applying to. It could apply to a lot of areas in your life, kind of a lot of long-awaited things finally coming to fruition, kind of getting some closure in some areas of your life, some aspects of your life, people or other things from the past really resurfacing as well, a lot of loose ends needing to be tied up. And with that is kind of also this person coming in or feeling very drawn in on that wave of change that is coming through you. It is coming through your life and to you in a variety of ways. So let's see, what else does this person want to say from their higher self, group 3. All right, and they say, I don't know if I believe in soulmates or twin flames, but if I do, you are my twin flame. So that can be a confirmation there for you if you resonate with either the term soulmate or twin flame and you consider this person to be that. That can also tie in with this offer, somebody who is finally able and willing to admit to these feelings, this intensity. Somebody who might have been closed off to that concept before. Maybe you mentioned soulmates or twin flames and that kind of put an end to the connection. This person really sort of put up a wall or a barrier at that point, or really pushed you away in the past. And you've been just kind of left to grapple with that reality, to find answers in your own way, to kind of do that journey work within, to kind of walk this path on the 3D sense in a solo period of time, being very energetically connected to this person in the higher realms, kind of the two of you walking hand in hand on this journey, kind of this energy of parallel paths that you two have been walking, and this person having reached this point of breakthrough, this point of awareness within themselves, even if they don't know about or resonate with any of these titles, just this awareness that the connection with you is of significance, that there's an importance to this, that this goes beyond the surface, this goes beyond other dynamics or situations that they've experienced previously. This can also be somebody who has gone through some kind of a spiritual awakening, has kind of opened up that sort of those higher layers of themselves, has kind of expanded their perception of reality, expanded their perception of kind of co-creation with the universe, and the way in which our higher self and our spirit team in the universe communicates with us through the forms of signs and synchronicities. And somebody who might have been oblivious to that or just kind of discounted that has really had a change of heart, is really starting to take that into consideration, may have had some seemingly kind of miraculous events or very serendipitous events that occurred, things that were kind of without or outside the bounds of logical explanation, or what they had been taught up to this point in time, that they almost had no choice but to seek answers kind of outside of the box, and in doing that have really come to kind of a deepening of their awareness and their understanding of themselves, of the nature of reality, and also the nature of this connection with you. And they also say, I regret letting others come in between us. So this can relate to third parties. This could be, of a romantic nature. This could be the opinions of friends or family that really interfered with this connection in the past. There could be some pretty distinct dissimilarities between you culturally, religiously, maybe some kind of an age gap, something about your personal circumstances to where this person allowed that kind of vein of fear to be what really took over in this situation, instead of, exploring something that was outside of the norm for them, was outside of even the level of intensity that they had experienced in love in the past, what they'd come to believe about love in the past. This can even be heartbreaks of the past, kind of ghosts of the past that had been lingering with them, sort of allowing another person who broke their heart in the past to have influence over their ability to open up their heart to love again. And so somebody really having regret that they allowed that they almost made you kind of suffer for sort of the actions of others before you, that they allowed wounds stemming from other people, or kind of fear of rejection, fear of ridicule from those around them, that they allowed that to kind of erode the possibility in this situation, or to stand in the way of really exploring that and experiencing this intense and next level love with you. They also say it doesn't feel right without you. So there's a sense of something being missing. This person may be seeking to cultivate wholeness within themselves, because that's definitely, first and foremost, one of our primary jobs in each incarnation on Earth and elsewhere, is to really not seek that validation outside of ourselves, not seek to kind of fill that need for belonging with kind of exterior circumstances or people, but to really find and cultivate that sanctuary within, that feeling that we are good enough, that we are worthy just as we are, investing in self first and foremost in order to really be equipped to, invest in and receive from others in a more healthy manner, in a manner that is more egalitarian, in a manner that is more focused around reciprocity, when we are not operating from this place of wanting to almost fill a void within ourselves, that we are able to kind of in measured capacity and with respect for our own boundaries and needs, as well as the boundaries and needs of others, we're able to engage in kind of that equal give and take. And that can be in a platonic sense, or even in romantic connections. So this feels like somebody who, through that process of awakening, through the journey that they have been on, this kind of realization, admitting to these feelings within themselves, they may have been having to face some shadows about ways in which they sought outside validation, reinforcement from others, or allowed the opinions of others to weigh too heavily upon their self-esteem, or kind of use that as a gauge instead of their own intuition and what really resonated with them in terms of maneuvers that they made in their life, relationships that they cultivated or cut off, including this situation. And there's a sense that as they've been going through this journey work, this kind of self-discovery work, this process of kind of purging and rebirthing themselves out of kind of the ashes of what was, that it's not really looking at this connection to fill some kind of void, but almost recognizing that energy of the parallel paths, that the two of you have really been operating in tandem. A lot of great accomplishments and even these synchronicities that came up that this person might have been experiencing, feeling this yearning to want to discuss these things with you, to really be participating in this type of journey with you, recognizing that the two of you are connected in that higher level, in that kind of energetic and 5D realm, but really missing the times of togetherness, having a lot that they want to share with you, to get your opinion on things, to get your feedback on things, to give you some kind of validation, some kind of encouragement as well, somebody who's really kind of maybe walking in your shoes in a way and is acutely understanding through experience maybe some of your needs, or just something that would be helpful to you in terms of kind of an emotional input, words of encouragement, or just even being that kind of constant presence, that support system in a variety of ways as kind of the struggles of life, the challenges of life come up and are really faced, and the ways in which that is overcome. So I'm going to get the final 3 messages from this person's higher self for you, group 3. All right, and they say my fall will be for you. So this person is definitely falling in love with you on an energetic level. On all levels, it feels that they're really, something is activated within them, that you satisfy them and you fulfill them and you resonate with them on a level that they never knew was possible before. It could have been quite intimidating and overwhelming for them. But it's something that the more that they are kind of getting to know themselves, the more they are going through this ascension and this expansion within themselves, the more they are drawn to you as kind of this kindred soul, this kind of twin flame energy, this counterpart energy, that there's, parts of themselves that they might have, or even stances that they took about love and relationships that they might have been very firm about, very stubborn in, kind of allowing those wounded parts of themselves to really sort of run the program, run the show in their life. And this is the energy of really surrendering a lot of that, surrendering some kind of belief systems, or some kind of distortion that they were operating out of, to move into that softer energy, that energy of authenticity, that energy of kind of the authentic self shining through, aside from the programmings and kind of the agendas of other people that have sort of been templated in this person, or even the wounds of the past that have kind of contorted the ways in which they're able to give and receive love. They also say, I long to see you. So again, that energy of yearning, somebody who really wants to reach out, who is kind of right at that brink, who has done a lot of preparations, rehearsed what they wanted to say, perhaps even drafted texts, emails, conversations, and then just saved them, never really sent them. Let that kind of fear sort of pull them back into that shell, into that comfort zone. But there is this urge, there is this yearning. You might be seeing those signs about them again, kind of this influx of energy, feeling them around you, dreaming about them a lot, seeing a lot of reminders of them, and all of that being kind of the concrete manifestations of that energy of yearning and that energy of longing that they are projecting towards you. Also really kind of intervention from both of your spirit teams, trying to, bring these kind of signs and reminders, these kind of undeniable kind of physical examples of things to both of your reality, so that you're extremely focused on this connection at this time. You're extremely focused on that energy of anticipating, of something coming, but not really sure what that is. Really that sense of some kind of shift or some kind of a change, a new chapter getting ready to unfold between the both of you. And we also have, I just want to call you, but I won't. So that definitely was coming up. Somebody who's on the brink of the communication, but is, just kind of slipping back into that fear still. This feels like a battle that's not a losing battle. They're gaining more confidence as time goes on. The signs are undeniable. This truth, this awareness that this person is tapped into within themselves, in their life in general, in a lot of ways, this feels like somebody who is allowing their higher self to guide them, who is really trusting in their own intuition, who has kind of put the mute button in terms of a lot of outside influences, a lot of outside voices, maybe cutting off a lot of people from their life that could have had a lot of control over them, or whose opinion they may still value these people's opinion very highly, but it's not the end all be all. It's not, they're no longer seeking approval from these other people, but maybe just kind of using that as a sounding board, kind of taking that in, weighing that in to their decision-making process, but ultimately somebody who has shifted into letting their heart be their guide at this point forward. And so this, for a lot of you with this wanting to call and that they have an offer, you could really experience communication from this person in the not too distant future. It may come very spontaneously, and it definitely feels like something where they just kind of spring forth, almost that energy of, I'm just going to do it, today's the day, and not thinking too much into it. If this person allows themselves to get too much into their head about things, then that fear creeps up, kind of that potential of what could go wrong, how how this could be too premature to reach out, how they, maybe they weren't interpreting the signs right. Maybe you don't feel the same way. Maybe it's, maybe they're reading too much into things. Maybe, what they're getting in terms of confirmations or resonance about twin flame or soulmate. What if they're wrong? Just all of these kind of just these little things that then cause them to kind of hold back and retreat. But this does feel like the energy of somebody who's just going to take that leap of faith very spontaneously, kind of sending that message and not being able to really pull that back. A new chapter being opened between the both of you very spontaneously, and, some kind of an apology, some kind of vindication for you that, you were right, or just some kind of answers, which if this doesn't, if all this does is provide closure, then that can be a gift in and of itself. That confirmation that, your feelings were true, that this person has felt these things too. For a lot of you, then, you can start discussing the signs and synchronicities, and it can just be that extra kind of confirmation. Or even if this person reaches out and just starts at that kind of basis of friendship, that can be that internal confirmation for you that, what you were sensing energetically, kind of that energy of the buildup. It can be that confirmation that it wasn't just, all for nothing, kind of as this wave of other experiences are coming in, and this person kind of pulled along with that, part of that wave of what you've been expecting or hoping for finally arriving. Sort of that, we always hear about waiting on divine timing, and this is definitely that energy of, the time is right, the time is now, kind of that nebulous term of it all occurring in divine timing, and then reaching that point where, the hand on the clock strikes the hour where now is the time, this is the time, this was that kind of point in the future, that divine timing that you had been waiting on, or you had been told to just kind of be patient about, that for a lot of you, this is that point where you've done enough evolution. It's that time for that reunion. It's time to kind of meet each other at that sort of higher vibration. For a lot of you, then that can turn into, a friendship, that can turn into a relationship, or again, may even just provide some kind of closure so that you're able to kind of release this person and move forward unencumbered in your own way, toward whatever other, type of high level and resonant love the universe has to offer for you in the future. So I'm going to get some initials now for you, group 3. This could be first, middle, or last name of you or this person, or it could spell something out, just whatever resonates. Got V, M, I, C, J, U, D, Z, N, T, and O. So those are your messages, group 3. I hope that they resonated with you and that you enjoyed the reading. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up, comment, subscribe, or share. If you'd like a personal reading, I offer them through my Etsy shop, and there's a link in the description box of the video for that. I also sell handmade jewelry and some divination tools in my Etsy shop if you're interested in checking those out as well. I hope to see you again in another reading. Please take care and be well.